Good afternoon, and a warm welcome to all in the first day of School Education Panel of 10th International Conference on Human Values in Higher Education, ICH-VHE 2025, being held from 19th to 21st December. The theme of this year's conference, Empowering Youth Through Value-Driven Education for a Happy and Peaceful World, underscores the vital role of education in nurturing responsible, compassionate, and value-oriented individuals for a harmonious society. We extend our sincere welcome to all dignitaries, delegates, participants, YouTube listeners, and look forward to 3 days of enriching dialogue and collaboration in advancing the cause of human values in education. We are deeply honored to welcome Sri Dhirendra Chaturvedi, retired Additional Director, Department of Public Institutions, Bhopal. Sri Chaturvedi has worked in Education Department, Madhya Pradesh, as District Project Coordinator, Jabua, and got introduced to universal human values there. He has served as the District Project Coordinator Officer Vidisha, District Education Officer, first in Jabalpur and later in Bhopal, and Joint Director in Narmadapuram Division. As director, IASC College Bhopal, he led large-scale UHV teacher workshop, both online and offline. He has played a pivotal role in developing textbook and workbook for Anand Sabha at IASE and has also introduced major innovations in comprehensive learning and evaluation system and Anand Sabha UHV based program. I request to all participants that if any question is there, please raise hand. YouTube listeners can post their questions in chat box. As per time and relevance, we will take up the questions. Now I request Sri Dhirendra Chaturvedi to kindly deliver his talk.
Uh, Namaskar to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Divyaji, for introducing me. Now, I have been given to understand that this is one of the talks which is a primary talk on the whole issue. So, I would start by saying that I am going to tell about my journey with the universal human values and how I came into contact with the UHV. I will not be dwelling upon all the intricacies of the universal human values. Basically, it is my personal journey. The rest of the sessions which will come, I think that exposition will be coming at that time. So, of course, I can take up the questions which are directly related to me straight away and how I have been influenced by different UHV experiences and different workshops that I have gone through. So with that thing in background, I'll tell what my journey has been. So it was in the year 1996. I was posted in a district called Jhabua. This is in Madhya Pradesh, as a state in our country, Bharat. And at that point of time, this was the lowest literacy district in the country. And I was, as a government officer, I was working at two platforms. One was for the school education, primary education basically, not the secondary education. And the second was for literacy. That program of universal literacy was going on at that time at the level of Government of India all over the country. So I was the district coordinator for the literacy campaign, universal literacy campaign. And secondly, I was also looking at the district primary education project, which was sponsored by the World Bank at that time and the DFID. So I was having at that time two roles, literacy as well as the primary education. So accidentally, I got introduced to the universal human values, and how it all happened, that will come through as I progress with my talk. I belong to Delhi otherwise, worked with Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for about 8-9 years. And then I got this selection in Madhya Pradesh for this department. Uh, Earlier, I was working with the Ministry of Health at that time. Now I shifted to Education Department and got this appointment through a competitive exam, which included lots of other officers of different in police as well as the excise, as the GST, and all kind of different offers were there. So I got into this. So about at that time, whenever we were preparing for these competitive exams, so the normal thought in any young person at that age, now I'm turned 64 years of age. At that age was that you will have some big bungalow, you will have a car, you will have a good, you will have servants, you will get good, family, good looking wife and all that, you know, and you will have some people whom you can order around. That is a normal thought when you prepare for these civil services exams. And the same kind of thing I also had. After having got into this job, so of course, all these kind of things came in. Working with education, it was definitely difficult for me. That area is called, it was 100% tribal area, but for the, a few people coming and settled there from outside or the government officials. And the people who live there are called Bhil or Bhilalas. They are very ancient kind of tribes who have been fighting for the Rajputs of the Rajasthan area mostly. So a tough job. As I told you, in 1995, somewhere in, I suppose, in October or November, I don't exactly remember the dates, the district collector, somewhere you called them the district magistrate also, there was one Mr. Manoj Jhalani. He gave me a call and asked me whether I could come to his house. And there is some gentleman at his house, and he himself, that Mr. Jhalani, he will not be able to attend to him right now because he was to go to some member of parliament's program. So because that gentleman, whoever was there, he was alone, all alone. So could I go to his home and just spend some time with him? He also asked me to take with me one the Assistant Commissioner of Tribal Welfare. That was one Mr. G.C. Azad. At that time, he was posted there, so that we could just spend some time with that gentleman. The As I told you, the guest of Mr. Thalani. Of course, now that the secretary asked, so we went over there. So that was one Mr. Ganesh Prasad Bagadia. So he introduced himself as GP Bagadia. He was, having dressed very simply, a bandi and a dhoti, lungi sort of thing. And we knew nothing about him. So he just asked us to have a cup of tea, and then he's asked me whether what all the work we were doing. So as a government officer, we have a lot to tell what all kind of things we are doing. So I rented about all these things, that so many kind of things we are doing. It is so difficult in tribal areas and the all kind of problems with the students, but whatever little we could do, we kept on telling him, lots of efforts. So I too must have taken some 35-40 minutes telling all about what I was doing. Thereafter, he asked Mr. Azad as to what Mr. Azad was doing. So he was in lots of other roles also as In tribal department, you have got construction works also, lots of things. He took another 1 hour to tell whatever, great things he was doing. So Mr. Bagadia kept on, listening to us all that time, not stopping us anywhere. And then he asked us, he said, okay, lots of good things you are doing. Now, what are the problems you are facing? Now you are going to achieve so many things. You have got these targets. For what are the problems you are having? Are there any problems? So lots of problems. He started telling about the problems. So everyone is a problem. Sarpanch is a problem. MLA is a problem. Member of Parliament is a problem. Bureaucracy is a problem. But except for ourselves, everybody was a problem. Same thing started with the Mr. G.C. Ajad also. He also told about lots of problems. Then he asked me that if all these, because he said that you are working for the complete literacy, and so all the people become literate, and the students, the students who are studying in primary schools, they also become literate and educated. So now, tell me that whatever problems you are telling, all these problems, if they are taken care of, if they just go away, will you be fulfilled? The word he used was, क्या आप तृप्त हो जाएंगे? So that was something very shocking for me. And I hear that I can see that all the participants who are here, they are all Bharatiya only. So I'll take liberty to time to use some Hindi words also, so that I am able to express myself well. So I was taken aback because that was a word very alien to me. क्या आप तृप्त हो जाएंगे? I could not understand, because that was in fact I must have read that word many times, but tript ho jayenge, in that terms I never heard that. So you will be fulfilled. I was taken aback. I thought that I asked him to give me some time to think it over, because whatever education normally one has, post graduation or doctorate, I did not have doctorate then and now, but then I was a postgraduate science. And I thought that all our efforts are going towards only making these tribal people literate. So that is equivalent to some class 3 pass. Now, after having studied all that, and working in government and having all these amenities, I thought that I am not satisfied. I am not fulfilled. And I thought that if I am myself not fulfilled, मैं खुद भी अभी तृप्त नहीं हो पाया, तो इन लोगों के लिए इतनी मेहनत क्यों हो रही है? इतना सारा all that paraphernalia, all the district officers, whether they're in irrigation, they are in PWD, they are in forest, they are SDOs, revenue, the police, everyone was working for that literacy, and it was all over India. But that, as I told, that question struck me. If I am not fulfilled after getting a good job and having studied all that, then why all this? Same thing happened with, to some extent, must have happened with Mr. Azad also. And by that time, that it was time of lunch, so I went to my home. Also went, and we promised that we will again meet after 4 p.m. To Mr. G.P. Bagadia. So he was the first person, resource person, so-called, of the universal human values. I met him. So when I went to my home, so at that time, if you would remember, that in early 90s, they were not, video cassette recorders were not available in all the homes. And they were taken on rent. And overnight rent, it used to take about, I think, 100 rupees at that time, and you could see some 2-3 movies. And it must have been happening everywhere, because I was living in Delhi and Ghaziabad. So we also used to have it there, and then Jammu also. And we were living in the officers' colony. So earlier, a thing had happened that all of the officers, they were having color televisions. We did not have one. We were only having black and white TV, and that was a big problem for us. We thought that everybody has a color TV and we do not have it. So I took some loan from bank, and it was with quite lots of difficulties that we were able to make up that loan. So much so that my wife had to you know sell some of her ornaments, and at that time it had cost some 20,000 rupees. And I was not good at the mathematics of all the banking, so we had to pay almost 30,000 rupees for that. And we at that time we said enough is enough, nothing doing. We're not going to spend these kind of things. But then after some time, this VCR thing came up. Again, it started. Again started thinking that we do not have a VCR. So again, I approached the bank and the shop. And after a few discussions for about a week or so, we decided that on that day about which I am talking of, in the evening we will go and purchase a VCR. So, but I asked her, my wife, um, do we really need it? When I came for lunch, what happened? Why are you saying that we have to purchase it? All the formalities have been done. I told her the gentleman has come in our collector's house, Mr. Janani's house, and he is talking about certain strange things, and thus I'm having double thoughts about it. She said, okay, then why don't you call him at our home in the evening? So we agreed upon that, and then we again went to meet him. Now, okay, we have rented enough about all that government stuff. Now you tell what you have to say. Then he just, he said a few things that, like general things that everybody, every human being, he has a purpose, and that main purpose is to become happy. Now, about being happy, how do you become happy is something, everybody's choice. Choice means that whether you live upon having understood your basic needs, and then you also understand how do you fulfill them, or your choices are guided by uh, the respect that you earn from others. And you have to also see whether that respect that you think that you are having, that respect is because of what you are and you are really respected, or because of the things that you are trying to acquire or maybe show off, or whatever language one may use. So these were also a few things, and then he came up to our home, and in the evening, and we had over dinner, we had lots of thoughts, we had lots of talks. And then during the course of the discussions, we realized that why we were getting into the trap of that debt that I was going to get from the bank, was only because we wanted to be equal in having the possessions of things which the other officers were also having, and we thought that unless until we have them, we will not be respected. At least at that time, really did not understand what really respect means, but this is what really transpired. Next day, collector asked me to take Mr. Bagadia to a few places in the district. So there was there are some places called Bhabra and Kathiwara, very remote areas, and lots of government works were going there, particularly with the watershed mission and certain health mission also. So during that journey, lots of other things also, crept in our discussions. And I asked him about how, now what you are saying, it makes some sense to me, in fact, makes lots of sense to me. How is it related to, the work? What you are suggesting is that I ought to be fulfilled, but I'm not fulfilled. So what is that which is, not fulfilling? And what can I do for this? So he discussed about the purpose of education as such, per se. He said that if goal of our life is to be happy, is to be fulfilled, then education must be such that it leads us to achieve that. He asked me whether the education that we are going to impart or we are imparting or what we have achieved, is it fulfilling? Is it leading to the fulfillment of myself and others? That was certain, of something great to me. And then at that point of time, I was having, there were different tribal development blocks. 12 different blocks were there. So I called up all the block officers to assemble at my home in the evening because we were returning in evening. And I thought that I'll ask Mr. Bagadia to speak to all these officers, because what I was trying to understand, my rest of the officers should also understand, because we were working as a team. So in the evening when we got back, all these officers were there, and like me, they were very much enthused as to the great work they thought, as I thought earlier that we were doing. And then I introduced Mr. Bagadia, and I only knew him as a friend of Mr. Manoj Jhalani, our collector, and nothing else about him. In fact, initially I thought that he is sometimes sadhu kind of thing, and he is trying to make fool of Mr. Manoj Jhalani, our collector, who is such a nice person. So initially, I did not take him seriously. In fact, we took it very lightly. And as I told you that in our initial discussions, he only asked questions. He did not say anything about himself or about the thing. Only he asked me whether I was fulfilled. So we had a few talks about the purpose of education and what can be done about it. And then we also thought, and our discussions took to the stage that we thought that without having the education, the kind of education, the school education, the collegiate education, and the literacy campaign that we were running, the tribals were better off. They were happier without our kind of education that we were trying to impart upon them. They were very happy people, and maybe some toddy and these kind of intoxicants, they were taking, but happy. And every evening, they would dance and make merry, had good relationships between the families. And all of us, um, we were having as government officers, because we had to work a lot. During the day, we were working for the primary education, and during the nights, we were working for the literacy campaign. So naturally, there were feuds in the family. Wives were not happy, children were not happy. So that fulfillment at the level of family was also not there. The health was also not good, because we thought health was not the consideration for us at that time. Neither was the family. Only the, getting the appreciation from the collector or from the Delhi government or the state government, getting some award. Those kind of things were in our, minds. So we realized that whatever we are doing, that would be rather more harmful to the tribals, and we would better leave them alone rather than, continue with this kind of things. So we asked Mr. Bagadia, do you think that we should stop all this? He said, no, 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 no. He said, no, not that. But you ought to realize that what real education is and how can you do it. If the education, what you're imparting, is not leading to the fulfillment of yourself and others, then maybe, you are not in the right direction. This is what he said. Then I asked him as to what can be done, and we would like to know more about it. He told us that, he told me that at that time they were running a few, a workshop for 7 days. And if we people could go over there That was being run in Kanpur at that time, IIT Kanpur and other places. And if he could come, so he said that it is going to take some time, some 7 days, but maybe we would be fulfilling for the whole of our lives. And with that, his time had come to go back to Bhopal because he had come there to meet some IS officer. And because that IS officer was not there, so he had come to meet Mr. Jhalani. Then I asked Mr. Jhalani as to about Mr. Bagadia. Then I was told that Mr. Bagadia was a senior of him in IIT Kanpur, and he told me all about him. And Mr. Bagadia was related to the value education for right from the beginning when he joined the IIT Kanpur and all. Then I came to know about him. Then I asked Mr. Jhalani as to whether we should send a team. And I would also like to go to attend this workshop. So that was somewhere in 1996, probably February or March. So this workshop was organized in Bijnor. This is a place near Delhi in Uttar Pradesh. Unfortunately, I could not go there because a team from DFID was coming at that time. So I was not able to go. But some 30 of our officers and other teachers, they went there. They came back happily from there. And thereafter, I attended the workshop in June in 1996. One workshop we organized in June 1996. That was some from 50-60 persons were there. I was able to join that workshop for all that period. Of course, Mr. Ganesh Bagaria himself took that workshop. So this was my primarily the first time that I was introduced to the universal human values. So up to this, if you have got any questions, you may ask me. Then I will go further.
I request the participants, if there is any question, please ask.
In between Divya Didi, we also have with us, we are privileged to have Ratu sir also. He has joined us. So we
Yes, there are several sessions going on, so I'm here for just a few minutes. Yes.
So one question could be, which I am asked often, that whether then you purchased VCR or not. So the answer is that we did not purchase the VCRs until then. So there are no questions. Of course, there can't be any questions at this stage. Maybe later also. So I'll go further then. So in June, then we attended this workshop, and this was a 7-day workshop, and it was organized in Meghnagar. Meghnagar is a place which is about 20 kilometers from Jhabua, where I was working. Jhabua was the district place headquarters, and we did not have enough place in Jhabua because it was so much a backward place. It was a Christian hospital there, missionary hospital. We got a hall there and some residential facilities. So this was organized there. There I was introduced to, gradually to all the concepts of the universal human values. About myself, we never thought about, myself as an entity. Never thought that my body is something separate from myself. About the family, about the society, about the nature itself, about the existence itself, lots of things were there. And the first thing, and we invited all the, so-called intellectuals of the district there. We thought that let us challenge this, whatever this new thing is coming, let us challenge this. So we invited all the people from all over the, so-called, very, studied people, very learned people. And when they started, the first suggestion was that everybody wants to be happy. So immediately reaction was there. And people started saying that, you cannot be happy forever. Happiness is something, it comes and it goes. And, if you become happy, then you will forget what unhappiness is. And happiness should come and go. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. Then since they were very learned people, so lots of quotations from Bhagavad Gita and Ramcharitmanas and some Bible, something from Quran, because we had assembled all these kind of people. So it took us some, I think, 4 days to just to agree. Everyone agreed that okay, everybody wants happiness, and happiness ought to be achieved. And then we came to how it can be achieved. So rest of the things, we had very less time. But then the something about the body, about the health and my relationship with body and myself. So that was not very difficult. But about myself, the what we call Atma, Buddhi, Chit, Vritti, and Man, the 5 components. I think I don't know in how in English they have been placed. I do not know. But then Atma, Buddhi, Chit, Vritti, and Man. So how they work? And frankly speaking, I did not know about much about this. I knew मन, because मन करता है और आत्मा की आवाज सुननी चाहिए, that was okay. और बुद्धि बादाम खाने से बढ़ती है, that was okay. These kind of things were there. Nothing much about it. So how one is prompted to work because of man and because of sharir and these kind of things. So something of that was talked of. I must say, admit that I'm still trying to understand all those things and trying to relate all those things with me. So मन पर पूरा काबू पा लिया है ऐसा कहना भी मुश्किल ही है. अभी थोड़ा गज्जक खा के थोड़ी देर पहले ही बैठा हूँ मैं. गज्जक नहीं खानी चाहिए, मोटापा बढ़ता है, मोटापा बढ़ा हुआ है, और अभी खा के ही बैठा हूँ. सो द journey continues. Then something which really everybody was uh, affected by the talk was about the family. When we came to talk about the values and the values which are in the family, that was something everybody related to, and even today everybody got related to. So I took out the English printout. So what we call trust and respect and affection and care and guidance and reverence and glory and gratitude and love, all that, those concepts were introduced. And then we realized that these words, which we use to, very easily and freely, each of these words have got, certain very definite meaning to them. And one was thing which really, challenged us was, it was said that whatever is being said, it is a proposal. You don't have to accept it. You just, think of it, you weigh it, and if you think that it is okay, then you accept it is okay, otherwise you question it. तो जो कुछ भी है वो प्रस्ताव के रूप में है, आप उसको जांचिए, उसको मानने की आवश्यकता नहीं है. तो this kind of learning or teaching during our school and colleges were not there. We were always told to whatever is being said, you accept it. But now this was an open challenge that whatever is being said, you accept it. You don't accept it, you just think about it whether you accept it or not. And something was introduced which was called your natural acceptance. स्वाभाविक रूप से आपको ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं लगता है, ऐसा आप जांच करके देखिए. So when this session on this family values was going on, or the values was going on, this term came up of the Vishwas, Paraspar Vishwas, or the trust. So what happened was that because my children, they were very small at that time, my son and daughter, they were studying in a school. So we got them, ready for the school and sent them to the school, and myself and my wife. Then we, traveled to this Meghnagar place. As I told you, it was about 20 kilometers away from Jhabua. And in lunch time, we went back. They took lunch, and again readied these children, and then came back, traveled again to Megnagar and joined the session. So I was just thinking that what I've been told is that you have to, think about it and don't accept it. So uh, I thought about trust. I thought that I have got trust on everybody. My wife, oh yes. My children, oh yes, of course. My friends, oh yes. Parents, yes. Then I thought whether they have trust on me. So I thought, yes, okay, everybody has trust on me. I'm a very trusted person. So everything was well. I was satisfied. But then this thing, कि इसको जांचना है. So I thought, let me check whether this thing is right or not. So normally, what happened was that I drove the vehicle. We had a Jeep at that time, and my wife sat by me, and my driver it was somebody called Punanath Yogi. His name was Puna, and my both of my children they sat on the back side. So I thought कि भाई जांचना है तो we have to check it. So I told my driver that okay, you drive the car. I will sit at the back side with the children. So बैठ गए, and my children asked me, okay, Papa, are you going to sit with us? I said, why not? Can't I sit with you? No, 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 why not? So I sat with them. My driver drove the Jeep. And then I asked my daughter, my, she's an engineer with Apple now, always was in Air Force. I asked her, okay, how are you, Nimisha? She said, I'm fine. How are your friends? They are fine too. Then I thought what to talk to her. I didn't have another question. So I sat about for 2-3 minutes. I just sat quiet. Then I asked my son. He's also in Air Force now. He's in post in Assam now. So I asked him, okay, Kanishk, how are you? He said, Papa, fine. So how are your friends? They said, fine. Everything going on well? They said, yes, everything is going well. Now, after that, in fact, the truth is that I did not know in which class they were studying. I did not know anything about their friends. And when we were traveling to Megnagar, every day they used to enjoy, they used to talk between themselves and with the driver. But now they just stood, they were very still, sitting calmly. And that was the longest journey of my life. That about half an hour's of journey. I can never forget that journey. And then it all dawned upon me that I do not carry their trust. And it was about 3 or 4 years later, when I was posted in Ujjain, then I was able to muster up enough courage to ask my wife whether she trusted me or not. So then I realized that what really is the meaning of these values, and how far I was away from all those values. And then, that my journey started. So lots of, things occurred with me. Lots of stories are there with my journey. But then I realized that, yes, the true meaning of education we can only achieve through, when we go through the human values. At that point of time, since we were working more on the literacy, so we chalked out a program which Mr. Bagadia had earlier, done some experiment with in Bastar district. That time Bastar was a part of Madhya Pradesh. Now it is a part of Chhattisgarh. So it was named as Samajdar Sakshar Abhiyan, and we prepared a good, project, submitted to the government because the government's approval was required. Because otherwise it was all based on 3 hours arithmetic and reading and writing and all. But once we were through this, the Mr. Jhalani got transferred. And after some time, I also got transferred. Both of us were transferred. A new collector came. The new collector, I could not make him appreciate the things because I myself was not in a position there. And Mr. Jhalani had gone. I got transferred to Ujjain. That team, which was exposed to the this UHV, that is still working. And some of them are very regular contributor to the UHV at different forums. But then when I got transferred to Ujjain, so naturally I started talking about that, about the UHV requirement of it in different people I met. But my wife told me one thing, that people come to meet you. Being an officer, lots of people came to meet me. But within 5 and 10 minutes, they ran away. I said, why does that happen? He told me that whatever you know about the UHV, you try to tell them in 10 minutes. And the kind of language that you have got now, all these kind of what Atma Buddhi Chittavritti and Man and Sahastitva and all these, they are foreign to you also, because how much you are, really you are living with that, you are also not sure. And of course, those people also don't understand. You better be slow, better try to change yourself first. So she advised me like that. And it was true also, and it's true to some extent today also. But then I tried to, because I was in education, field of education, and the lots of happened. Ujjain happened to be, some place which is considered to be a place of Kalidas also. Lots of intellectuals are there. My interactions with those people, and I was able to, organize a few 1 day, 2 day, 3 day workshops of the universal human values at that time. Some people, naturally, they understood, because I found that more a person is affected with his lifestyle, the more he is in need of, the value education. And all the government officers, they are all, they, everybody's in problem now. All kind of, blood pressures and sugar and all kind of diseases they have, because of the pressure to work, and pressure to perform, pressure to achieve everything in life within 1 to 5 years, whatever normally a person achieves in the whole lifetime. So fight among the non-working wives of the officers as to how many servants they have in their homes, how many vehicles they have in their home, how many telephone connections they have, all kind of things. So lots of people came in contact, and they were, but since the program was not taken up at the government level, it only was limited to my interactions with the people, introducing them to this, and then asking them to be present in workshops. And I did not take any of the workshop. Even today, I have not taken, till date, I have not taken any workshop. But Professor Bagadia ji came, and other people also came to take these workshops. Thereafter, I got transferred again from Ujjain to a district called Vidisha. There, the collector was a lady, Mrs. Sudha Chaudhary, and I told her about this. And I was working then, at that point of time, I was working with the primary education program only, not with the literacy campaign. She understood the things, and then she gave a few platforms. So at that time when I was transferred, then some other collectors were there. One Mr. Viraj Gopal Naidu, then one Mr. Veera Rana, some other. But for the last year of my working there, I was working there for about 3.5 years. Then Mrs. Sudha Chaudhary was there. I was all again able to organize a few workshops, and all those people who joined those workshops at that time, they are still related to the universal human values. And thereafter I got transferred to Jabalpur. So again those things, um, again a few workshops, and meeting the people, and like this, a few transfers to the Board of Secondary Education. I was the additional secretary there. Tried to talk to the people about introducing these universal human values in the curriculum itself. But then very senior IS officers are there, so it is very difficult to make them understand. And they have failed all their in life, so they don't think that something new can, do something good. And whosoever comes there, they try to do things in their own time, and chairman of the Board of Secondary Education are the ones who are bypassed as chief secretary. So they are all frustrated people. So I couldn't do anything about them. Because of certain reasons, I got transferred to Hoshangabad district as joint director, did some work there. Then I got up, because certain family liabilities were there. So I worked as the special secretary to Minister for Agriculture for some time. For about 1 year, I got a chance. He was a gentleman and, very much rooted to the Indian values and Bhagavad Gita and all. उसको कंठस्थ थी उनको. He understood the thing and he was controlling all the agriculture universities of Madhya Pradesh. There were basically two main agriculture universities, one in Gwalior and one in Jabalpur, and then other agricultural colleges, 7 different colleges. Because of him, we had a few meetings with the commissioner and agriculture and the deans and the vice chancellors and the principals of the agriculture, and then a few workshops were organized. Then minister himself went to Kanpur with a team of vice chancellors. We went there, and they people also recognized, because then we were talking in terms of the farmers and the role of agriculture and what kind of things should be done. Lots of, because the basic things were the same, and we were able to introduce that course in agriculture universities and the colleges, and for about a year or two the things went well. Later on, I'm not very sure as to but because the elections happened and that minister lost his seat, and then I also came back to my parent department as additional director, and then agriculture, something must have been happening, but to this date I have to at what is happening. This is last 2-3 years, I do not know. But when I came back to Bhopal as additional director, then I was given the charge of all the academics, and then I had opportunity to do something, because I was at a place where I could make a few things happen. So I tried talking to the principal secretary and the commissioner and the officers at large. Something very difficult to make the IS officers understand at that point of time, but because, as I told earlier also, because unless until their approval is there, you cannot do anything. As long as I was in the district or I was in the as joint director, there I had my independence as to whomsoever I can call, they would come. But in the directorate, it is not happen. It's not possible. But I realized that if some things start changing here, then it becomes easier for me to do. Then 2019 elections were there, and the government which was at that time in Madhya Pradesh, the another party took over, and I was transferred to a place called Institute of Advanced Studies in Education. I was as director there. There again, I got this facility or independence. We were having about 400 teachers who were pursuing their Bachelor of Education and Master of Education, and about 20-25 PhD scholars. There I got again that opportunity, and we conducted a few workshops. Fortunately, at that time, the principal secretary was one Mrs. Mrs. Rashmi Shami. She was somebody quite rooted to values. I invited her. She came to a workshop, and at that point of time, the workshop that we had, that was through AICTE. Charan was there, Ganesh ji was there, Rajul ji was there. So that that we were able to do. And I was also working with the certain private schools also for a long time, because it was easier for me to work with the private schools. So what happened was that uh, there's a school called Billabong High. And in the Billabong High School, the principal secretary's children were studying. And that the chairman of that school was still is one Mr. Najam Jamal. And he belonged to Kanpur. I used to, often interact with them, and he thought, something good is there. And one Praveen Singh, one of the, student of UHV, he conducted a few workshops because he was there here for 2-3 years. And they were, impressed with this universal human values, and they were teaching, they had taken up in some way this universal human values. And at that point of time, Mrs. Rashmi Shami was the commissioner of primary education. I was working for secondary education. Then she went to agriculture also for some time. Her children were since studying in that school, and whenever she went for this parent-teacher meet, so these Najam Jamal and their team, they used to talk about this universal human values. And when I spoke to her about these human values, she was instantly, she thought that, okay, I have heard about it. And yes, we could experiment with this. So with that background, we had this ISC, that's Institute Advanced Studies workshop conducted. And then, sorry, some calls also, keep coming up. So I have to just excuse to those calls also. We conducted that workshop. And she said, okay, go ahead with it. And then we started preparing the workbooks. And then till that time, since it was not introduced at the school education level, it was a challenge for us to, translate those books and all that curriculum in Hindi. That was one. And secondly, to test, field testing, whether, this, whether this will go easily with the students or not. We were not convinced, of course, because at the first thing, it seems that the wordings are quite difficult. Simultaneously, there is one institute for, Rajya Anand Sansthan. Some of the officers will be interacting with you today. So one Mr. Iqbal Singh Bens, who later on became the chief secretary, he was at that time working as chief executive officer of that Rajya Anand Sansthan. And one of my friend, Mr. Praveen Gangrade, he was the joint director, Women and Child Welfare Department, and we had worked together in Ujjain and Jhabua, and he was also to some extent introduced to the UHV. He arranged a meeting with Mr. Iqbal Singh Bens. That was in 2016. There were a few meetings held with Mr. Iqbal Singh Bens and his team, and somehow we thought that maybe this thing would be good experimenting with. And in 2018, Mr. Ganesh Bagadia was also incorporated as the one of the members of the governing body of that Rajanand Sansthan. A few workshops took place in 2018, 2019 in Rajanand Sansthan. And when we were, trying to introduce it in the education, then Mrs. Rashmi Shami said that better you don't go through this school education department, rather go through the Rajya Anand Sansthan. Because the intellectuals who controlled the education at that time, they still do so. They had a different kind of opinion and have a different kind of opinion as to how the values are imparted. So they thought that values can be caught, they cannot be taught. And, through stories and, these kind of things. And so principal secretary was convinced that, it was very difficult to tell them, and she was correct. And we approached the Rajanand Sansthan since we were already in touch with them. So in Rajanand Sansthan, they took up and they had in contact with the AICTE, and then we conducted a few workshops. Initially, it was Rajni Arora ji with whom those talks were conducted, and then the Rajanand Sanstha leadership, they were also involved with a few workshops, and then in the as I told you, in 2021 we had this ISE workshop, and once these were the workbooks, and some of people who really worked hard and still working hard uh, are here in this meeting. Workbooks and the textbooks and the teacher handbooks were prepared. Then we thought that we should experiment it with the student straight away. And we organized a workshop in December 2021 for the girl children of, it was a Kamala Nehru Girls School. So Rajulji was there and Bhanuji took that workshop. It was a 8 days workshop. The textbooks, those were prepared. Can you excuse me for a moment? I have to take a important call.
Divya Didi, between if there are any questions or inputs, we can take them right now. Yes, so whenever sir
Yeah, I
will be
request
from
all
the call,
the
he will be able to respond.
Yeah, well.
Ji.
So, okay, I couldn't hear what you said, but I'll continue because the phone was from my wife. So because of the UHV, I understand that I have to take up the call. So that workshop went very well, and these girls, these books that were prepared were for the class 9th girls. But that the all the girls who participated in the workshop were all girls who were studying in class 8th. Principal secretary came twice or thrice, and the last date when that workshop was there, we invited all the parents also to take their feedback. And it was these children, these girls, they also spoke as to what they have understood. The parents also spoke and they distinctly found, and about 10 or 15 parents said that they have found lots of changes in their daughters. And the girls, in girls school, they will apply their lipstick and change their things and come up with pan masala and lots of mobile and lots of things, and they'll argue with their parents also. Lots of things were there, but they then distinctly said that no, certain they are seeing lots of changes in their daughters, and they also said that we are also to some extent maybe we feel that we ought to behave differently with them. So this way the workshops, that workshop went. And then it is all, a long process how these, all these books were prepared, then printed, and, the lots of trainings went on. That part will, I think, be taken by Mr. Argal and the Rajanand Sansthan officials with you, all that journey, how systematically it has all gone. Now, I think it is some 600 schools, it is the whole the things have been taken up. And we are all these excellent schools, the CM Rai schools, and all the schools in Bhopal, this is the capital of Madhya Pradesh. So these courses are being run. So there can be lots of stories, by my journey, but basically, this is what I had to say. So if there are any questions or suggestions, they are welcome.
I request the participants to kindly ask the questions, if any. One question from Dr. Rajkumari ji. In which year you, sir, went for the first UHU workshop?
So that was in 1996. So it was not called, exactly UHV. This was a values workshop. And UHV word came from AICTE. It developed there.
Okay, sir, out of curiosity, I just want to ask one more question. Actually, starting from 1996 to this coming to the, in connection with the RAS, throughout this journey, may I know your family development in this journey? Have you ever tried to bring your family in any workshop or?
Oh yes, as I told you that my children, when we went back, so they were very small at that time. So they sat in that. Then they, at that time in Triple IT, Hyderabad, the workshop started. So they joined the workshop there and in a full workshop, both my son and my daughter. And in whatever workshops that we were organizing at all these places, Vidisha, Ujjain, Jabalpur and all, Hoshangabad, every places. So mostly these were on Sundays, if they were permitted. They always, they were always there. My wife and children, they were always there. So, and they have always supported.
One more
And
query, sir.
yeah, and some or other, something, called Prarabdha. I do not know what is what do you call it in English, but they are better
Destiny,
people.
maybe.
Huh?
Maybe it is a destiny you want to say.
Maybe if it is
Sometimes.
destiny, but then uh, okay, if it is destiny, but Prarabdha, they are more value oriented than myself. So they were able to understand and appreciate it more.
Yes, sir. So one more question I have, like, has the idea of, working or taking the workshops came into your mind, taking the workshop as a resource person somewhere because you are engaged in all these activities, UHV activities having taken place in this MP?
You see, when I was in district, so at that time, some 10-20,000 teachers, they're working, I was working with them as the head. As joint director more. And when was working in the directorate, so there were some about 3.5 lakh teachers. And I was also looking at the administration of that establishment. So as an administrator, you have to, sometimes punish teachers. You have to suspend them. You have to, issue them show cause notices. All kind. You have to scold them also sometimes. So if I talk about the values and simultaneously do this also, then they will just get off with this thing. If this is UHV, then you better be remain far away from this UHV. So that has been the reason that I have not never taken a workshop.
So it was the biggest challenge. I think it is a dilemma we can call that at one side we are just want to spread the UHV content, and another side to take the UHV workshops. We want to force or somehow want to convince them through these methods. So
No, 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 not convincing. See, when a teacher is not going to school, you know, regularly he is regularly irregular with the school or curriculum, or misbehaved with someone, done something which is not expected of that. So then you have to issue. I am sitting in as additional director in establishment in directorate. Now something some complaint comes that this fellow has done something very bad with the student or the some female teacher something. So we have to suspend him or her. If she's or he is misbehaving or not going to school. I do not know what is happening in Chandwara or what is happening in Sivni. But when the suspensions are taking place, the department inquiries are taking place, the name goes Dhiren Chaturvedi, additional director. Now, if you say that Dhiren Chaturvedi is going to talk about values, So that they will say, oh, okay, Dhiren Chaturvedi. We have to then to do with the values. If Dhiren Chaturvedi is talking about values. So the best I could do was that to bring the resource persons, and to introduce them to the maximum people, teachers and other people who I could. That was the only thing. There's a proverb in English. It goes like this: what you do makes so much noise that I cannot hear what you say. So as an administrator, what I was doing, that goes across the state, and I simultaneously I cannot say that okay, talk about the values. That is the reason.
Right, sir. Very nice journey shared by you. We are, it is beneficial for all of us
Thank you.
to explore more in this area. And sir, have you, maybe in your opinion, when you started this UHV from a private school, and later on you went in Kamla Nehru School and some other schools like in government schools. So, what do you feel? Which path is more convenient? Whether this private, if we take UHV to private schools curriculum, it is more easy, or taking it to the government schools, implementing, executing these textbooks or as a curriculum in government schools is more easy. Which one is better?
See, requirement is everywhere. Everywhere. And the different kind of problems are there in private schools and government schools. But when you are working in the government sector, see, we have got about 3.5 lakh teachers in government sector. About 1,20,000 schools, government schools. The private schools are about say 28,000. You have to address both, and they have got different issues. With the very good private schools, people from higher echelon of economically and socially better off people, they have their own problems. In the government schools, only those who cannot pay, mostly those people from lower rung of the economic and social status, they come. Requirement is everywhere. Now this particular school that I spoke of with the Billabong school, these people, they are value oriented. And when I spoke to them about this, and and then I did not conduct any workshop, and I don't, as I told, there's this Ganesh Bagadeji went there 2 or 3 times, and then this Praveen Singh, he took a few workshops, and these people went to Kanpur, the sansthan that we have, Manviya Shiksha Sanskar Sansthan, husband and wife, they went there. Then they saw all these, our students, IIT students. At that time, Sham was studying, Abhishek was studying, all these, those who are doing great work now, they were all studying, tending to all kind of, things during the workshop. Then they understood, they appreciated it. Not that every private school, owner, they will appreciate it. I talked about it in DPS also. I talked about it in Sanskar Valley also. So everywhere it did not happen. It also
Right.
depends on, the kind of people who appreciate the, need of values in their schools. Every school has, syllabus, value education in their syllabus. But whether, you are really able to impart that the way it should has to be, that is the question, that is the challenge.
So it is fine that the need is everywhere in every school, and even out of the school also in our personal life and family. Higher education also what we are talking in this conference
Yeah.
themes. And
Every human
any
being
other
born, he needs it.
and Divya ma'am, over to you for any questions from other attendees or panelists either, if they want to share something or any input from anyone. Dilshad Bhaiya is also with us.
Please ask question, Dilshad Bhaiya. Is there any questions or any sharing from any, please? So I don't think. So thank you, sir, for the enriching session. Your journey is truly inspiring. Even I myself felt related to it. The meaning of fulfillment is clearly explained. The happiness of tribals were discussed, feuds in families, health related issues, etc. Truly, education should be such that it should lead to not only our fulfillment, but of others and society also. The transformations in around 600 school is remarkable. Thank you, sir. We will all meet again tomorrow at same time and the same room with another enriching session by Sri Akhilesh Argal. Thank you, everyone. We may join another sessions which are parallelly running in another rooms. Thank you, everyone. Sir, you are mute. Please unmute.
Thank you, everyone. Divyaji, Rajkumari ji, and all the other participants, Dilshaji bhai. I was also happy to share whatever I have learned and how I have gone through. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.